Hey everyone, my name's Sebastian and welcome to Atmoseeker, your place for props, terrain, and creating an inspiring atmosphere for your tabletop role-playing games. Today, in tonight's live stream, I'm just going to paint some miniatures and talk about an upcoming campaign game that I've got tomorrow. So I just thought I'd paint some miniatures and talk about some of the techniques that I'm going to use to DM at the table, or some of the interesting story behind some of the monsters that I'm going to be using. I can show you around the game room as well. I've got it all kind of set up around here, and I might talk a little bit about the Dragon of Ice by a Pig adventure that I've been running recently, my feedback, and kind of how I've made some interesting tweaks that have been a reflection from the decisions that the party have made on the adventure. So without further ado, let's hit the table and start painting some miniatures and start chatting. So just to kind of kick things off a little bit, I've got a little bit of scotch here just to lighten the mood. This is a, what do we got here? Abalur. It was a gift, I think Christmas. Cheers. All right, so let's see what we have on the table. We can switch to this guy. Get the tunes going again. Hello, Nate. Welcome. And welcome to anyone who's come to this stream. I'm fairly new at this and fairly average miniature painter myself, but you know, I just have to do a little bit to kind of get some stuff table ready. So without further ado, let's have a look at what I've got 3D printed and ready to go. So I've got a few miniatures here. Welcome to any suggestions in the chat for what I should paint first. I've got this. Oh, it's not coming up. Let me just refresh that camera a bit. Let's see, the arm camera. Off to a great start. Here we go. Oh, the settings have all changed. Hang on a sec. It's gonna. All right, so I've got a few things here that I can paint. I've got, this is a gargoyle from Rocket Pick Games. This is, I like these models because they're mostly support free. I think most of them are support free. At this, the idea behind this one is, the story goes that there was this cursed Manticore, and there is some decrepitness kind of happening. And I thought the skeleton, the kind of structure of this guy was kind of similar to a Manticore enough that I could kind of paint it in a way that looks like there's some kind of corruption going on here. So there's a little bit of story behind this guy. And I also have a proper Manticore here. This is one from Artisan Guild, 3D printed in a whole bunch of sections. It's a little hard to tell here from the camera. Let me just see if I can clean this up a little bit. It's got a whole bunch of auto settings that's turned on now. Oh, there we go. That's the problem. We've got a whole bunch of gain here. I'm just going to turn that down. The white balance is, we'll just switch that down. I know this is it's great. You make all the right settings and stuff before going live, and then it just conks out on you. So yeah, that's the problem there. Too much exposure. There we go. That is a lot nicer. Okay, now we can actually see what we're painting here. All right, so we've got this beautiful Manticore from, what did I say? Artisan Guild. There's some nice detail on this one. This one was printed in several pieces. It had, I think that the wings were separate and the arms. It had some optional kind of chained pieces that you could put in there, but it didn't make sense for the story to kind of include those chains, so I opted to kind of leave those out. But I did like having those that as an option. Some very nice detail in here, and like the actual like Manticore sculpt of this kind of lends well to having supports on it. Like there were quite a few supports, but you see how we have all these kind of like little ribs and stuff. They kind of, when you snip them away, like you could leave all the bumps and stuff and it came up pretty nicely still. So there's a lot of good, great detail on that face if you can make it out. There we go. Yeah, that is a really nice mini. I'm looking forward to painting up that guy. Also have this Keg Golem. He is from Rocket Pig Games again. This is was support free. It did have a base on it in the STL. It had a based one and a baseless one. I decided to go with the baseless one just because with the base it was a bit too big, so I did have to chuck in a couple of supports underneath here to help print that, but barely anything, just anything on the hands that kind of help print that out. So there's some nice detail on this one, some interesting story behind this guy as well. I do have some bits and pieces here. I have this guy just kind of on the printer. He's a little bit cool. It's just like a bear rug. This guy is pretty. I could see myself using this a lot to just kind of like tie a room together. I guess that's what rugs do. Simple paint job on this guy, but I could see him hitting a lot of rooms and stuff. That guy was from Rocket Pigs games as well. So support free because he's pretty much just a pancake. So very, very easy to print that one. I do also have a couple of Hero Forge minis that were printed. These are for the heroes in the campaign that I'm running tomorrow for Dragon of Icefire Peak. We have Umbus here, the Gnome Bard. He's had some interesting adventures. He is now currently the Sheriff of Phandalin, who has the ceremonial horse of the town, and he seems to go through them quite quickly, trying to earn the favors of a Manticore ally that they currently have. There's also Philomir, the Paladin of Torm. If I can get a little bit of focus on this guy. The detail on some of these Hero Forge minis is quite good. It's getting quite washed out. I'm just going to like bring that down a bit. There we go. So yeah, he is a Paladin of Torm, and they've been kind of adventuring together through Phandalin because that's where the adventure is set. They've mostly been kind of in that region towards I actually have the map just across me because I have the game room set up. It is through the Neverwinter Woods and some of those Sword Mountains where they've kind of encountered the White Dragon in that adventure quite a few times, kind of making himself as a villain. We'll see how that story pans out. I also have just some little pieces that I thought were, I've got some crypty kind of dungeon kind of stuff, and I haven't had many of these kind of items, which is this is just a simple sarcophagus. I don't think there's going to be much done to this, other than just like maybe a little bit of dry brushing and stuff to kind of bring out some of those edges and stuff, but I'm mostly going to keep them as stone. And these are like, the thing with these kind of miniatures, like, they're very simple, like, but with like 45 minutes to print 4 of them, and it doesn't take up a lot of resin. I've been kind of using my 3D printer as kind of a buddy system, and he's been helping shift the load a little bit on some of this stuff so I can have more fun painting and still, you know, focus my energy on crafting some of the bigger stuff that is a lot more fun to craft. So I think Nate is saying he likes the gargoyle. I'm liking that guy too. I think I'm going to be hot swapping for a few of these kind of these miniatures, just because I'm a very average miniature painter, but I kind of know how to throw color on a model just enough to get it table ready. So if it floats your boat, then stay tuned and hear about the way I'm using these creatures in the story. And all right, well, I think, where am I going to start first? Let's see. I think I might warm up on these just because it's very simple and, you know, just an easy kind of just get into it a bit. Or should I just bite the bullet and get into this guy? Because, all right, Nate says he likes the gargoyle, so we're going to go for this one, I think, first. I think he's right, because it is going to be part of the adventure that they've been kind of working a lot towards, so it would be nice to have this guy painted. So, the story goes that this is Devrakor, which is the name of this Manticore. This is his mate that has been inflicted with some kind of curse from the White Dragon Cryovane in this adventure. And this is why he's kind of been working with the adventurers, giving them flight abilities throughout Phandalin and the Neverwinter Woods. and what has happened is she's been overrun by this curse, which is some kind of frost-bitten curse. So she's gonna have some Manticore-like abilities to her, but I think I'll paint her in a way that kind of has some frost-bitten nature to it. Maybe some of the like glowing blue eyes or something, or I think that's kind of where I'll go with it. Yeah, I did have some questions from some viewers, and welcome you new watchers here from Portugal. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you and welcome. And if you would like to suggest more kind of discussion topics for the stream, I'm going to aim to do this every Friday here in Australia. I know that kind of time zone is a bit strange for you in some of the overseas stuff, but it's mostly what I can muster at the moment. But if you do have any suggestions for topics or discussion, I do have a Facebook group. If you just follow atmoseeker.com, you can join there to see and join the discussion. I'll mostly post kind of little behind the scenes things that I'm working on, or just little tidbits, or if you want to post some of the stuff that's inspired by the channel yourself, we can always reach out and talk about things. Without further ado, let's get some paint going on this guy and see how it goes. All right, so we got a couple of hours, and I got all of these guys to paint, so we'll see how we go. We're gonna just like put a lot of base color on these guys, get the feel for them, and then see how it goes. So I think with this one, I painted something recently that had a similar color scheme. Let me just pull it out. Maybe I'll use it as a guide. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got here. All right, yeah, these, I think I may have shown them on the stream last week. So let's just show you how they are. So we also have, so these guys, I can't remember where they're from. I want to say Bysterium Games. These are called Dretches. Basically, they're like these sack-like little kind of, I mean, they're pretty big compared to another miniature. If the camera's going to focus up for me there we go. So the paint scheme on this guy is very simple. It is just like some purples and grays, a little bit of skeleton and that stuff. So I might use that as kind of a color guide for this one, because there is an idea that they have to go into there's going to be like this kind of cavern, kind of crater kind of thing they have to go into. It's kind of a subterranean thing that's been overrun by this frost curse. So there's going to be some holes in the wall where some of these smaller spawn are going to come out of the walls and stuff. Because these were Devracor's babies, and he's going to be pretty pissed off to see his wife and his babies all kind of cursed and stuff. Whether the babies actually look like this, I'm not sure. I'm just kind of using them symbolically to kind of, because they're kind of small and have the same kind of feel of this creature. So I might use this as kind of a color base. We do have a little bit of viridian on the hands there, just as kind of this tonal. It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but you can see that there is a little bit of wet blending there going to the top. So I think that is what we're gonna do. So we got palette, we got, let's see. So it was mostly black. I should have primed it black then. That would have been good. Maybe I'll hit it with some black and then build up from there. Just give it a good shake. So a question I did have from David on the Atmoseeker Facebook group. He was asking about lighting tips and any kind of like immersion techniques for online online play, a mix of online players and people at the table, and that is something that has been super tricky. There is, it's no easy way to do it because you want to have the audio for the players at the table to be surrounding, so you want to use a nice like sub speaker or something for that. But at the same time, you do want to like pipe through the ambience and music through to, I'm going to need more black than that, to your players online. I do have a video about transmitting that audio, how to split it between people at the table and online. That's a tricky thing because I'm going to have to use a big brush for this one to get some good coverage. And this one, wait, I got something better. This one's pretty big. There we go. All right. Yeah, because audio I find is, I'm meant to be thinning this, aren't I? I should thin it a little bit. Thin your paints. All right, well, yeah, we'll thin it a bit. Okay. Hi, Andrew, welcome to the stream. Just painting some images here, ready for a game. We just load up a whole bunch of black on this thing, because I think I'm going to build up from there. I think I'll go pretty light on it first, and then maybe I'll focus on underneath. So that might be still too thick, I think. Or maybe I've just got a shit ton of paint on this brush. Or maybe it's just flowing really super good. I don't know, I haven't used this brush before, so this is just like a dollar store brush that there was this, one of their primo brands, I guess. I am going to just wipe off a little bit of this paint. There we go. We're just gonna get, yeah, I think we're just gonna hit the bottom of it with some black first. I think I'm just gonna block in some of these colors. I might not even hit the whole thing with black, just a bit on the front, almost like it's that chest kind of thing. I have to use a different brush. This brush is actually very good for that initial coverage. I have to wet blend it to something else. It'd be good if I could blend it from this to the gray. All right, let's get a bit of gray on here too. You know, that's probably a pro tip. You get all your colors ready first, and then you start painting. Nothing crazy with these paints. You know, I've definitely like painted miniatures and just like gotten to the end, and it's just like a hot mess of just colors, and especially there's a bit more pressure here because I've got people watching, but I think I'm just gonna wing it. Yes, have a little bit of fun. I guess that the intention is some speed here. I'm not the best miniature painter, but I do like atmosphere. And that's kind of my jam at the moment. Oh man, that is a lot of black. I put a lot on there. That is a good brush. I might use that for something else, for some of the bigger models. But this one's just, I'm just gonna blend it upwards. See if that helps. It's tricky with some of these bigger models. Getting some of the, you can see all the not great paintwork that you can do, but I think I'm kind of one of those painters that just kind of keeps picking away at something until it feels good. So there's what colors I might start with here might completely change by the end of it. Definitely not one of those master painters there, but I'm just gonna try my darndest. Damn it, yeah. Let's see if we can at least make this the texture of this thing feel interesting, and let a lot of the model do the work, I think. So I like, personally sometimes, I think it's like great to do, like sometimes when I have a model, sometimes I just like it when it's just like primed black, dry brush, and you just have that, just like you can see all the details of the model just pop out. That is good to kind of do some justice to the sculpt. But you know, it's we'll see how this turns out. If I only do this mid tonight, I'm going to be in trouble because I've got a whole bunch of stuff to paint. Whether or not I get to Philomere and Umbus by the end of it, I guess we'll find out. But we'll see. At least I want this in the Keg Golem. Oh, the Manticore would be good too. Well, maybe I'll just be throwing some browns or something by the end of it, but we'll see. Any painting tips for beginners? Well, you're looking at a beginner right now. So my tip as a beginning painter is watching some of the professionals do it. That's definitely not me, but I think the main tip I can have is have fun with it, and painting, it can be very forgiving. So whatever mistakes and stuff that you make, you can paint again, you can start again, you can cover over with paint. So don't feel nervous to just start throwing paint on the model. I think something I just learned right now, it's good to get all your colors out first. I was worried things are going to dry out and stuff, but I mean, there's enough paint in this well that I don't think I need to worry about that. There are some great channels to watch if you're new to miniature painting. There is, man, I love Squidmar's channel. That guy is a real artist with painting miniatures. He's great with the camera too. Like they're very high production value from his channel, and it's just the way he paints stuff. It has very nice, like his color choices are quite good. So he definitely like watching him. It can be quite intimidating because he's quite he's been obviously doing it a long time, and he knows what he's doing. So it's kind of like, I don't have the skill set to do the same thing, but you know, I think, well, what I'm doing right now is just, I don't know, I've got some paint on here, some black and grays, and I'm kind of just blending them as I go on here and seeing kind of what happens. It's interesting because you've got some good shadow underneath here. Like my view is very different to your view. You've got a very nice evenly lit thing, so it doesn't look as fabulous on your view, but I'm seeing some good, like this. It's almost like with the black and the gray, it's that tonal values. Like you're seeing a lot of like this is kind of where the major shadow is. So like before this was painted, you would see a lot of it's kind of like an even color kind of thing. So when starting to add those colors and stuff, actually I am going to add some color to this thing. The point is, I think I'm mostly trying to say that it helps give form to the model. So I think I have seen like a lot of painters like add those lights and shadows to models, and I think I've particularly noticed it with the shadows. It helps make those forms kind of feel a bit more shapely, I guess, have a bit more depth. It's a lot harder painting these bigger models because there's a lot, I don't know. It's kind of, I say that, but then I've got these two Hero Forge minis to paint, and there's some very fine details in there. I don't know how that's going to go. I actually want some lighter colors in here too. Let's see. So, did I explain the story of this Manticore? I think I roughly did. We could talk a little bit about the adventure itself. It's so I'm running the Dragon of Icespire Peak adventure for 2 players, and we've been using the sidekick system, and it's actually been a lot of fun. I thought it was going to be a big struggle to you know, balance encounters and stuff, and make sure they don't die and stuff. But actually, they've done very well, like for complete beginners. It's been like these are really new people to D&D in general, and they've been finding solutions to problems that aren't necessarily combat. So it's been refreshing to kind of like, all right, let's see where the scene goes. And it has led to some twists and turns that have kind of gone a little bit off book, but I think that's what I've enjoyed about D&D. That it's, for me personally, like following an adventure is not necessarily following it to the letter, but kind of using it more as like a menu, like a buffet that you can kind of come up to and nibble at, and I'm going to have some of this and some of that. A lot of people feel pressure to use everything in a module. I like to kind of see it as this kind of a la carte menu that you can pick off. And I think that has made it a kind of healthy way to, especially when things happen quite unexpectedly. Oh man, am I butchering this guy? I don't know. I definitely should watch some more videos like this. Oh my god. I am definitely putting too much paint on this brush. I think I was kind of hoping to blend it down a bit because it's meant to be this frostbitten thing. I think I need some mid-tones. That's a thing, right? Oh, there we go. I think I worked it out. There you go. Just working at it. I haven't painted much more of these, much of these 3D printed minis, but I am enjoying 3D printing them all out and having some miniatures to paint. That actually worked out pretty well. I think that's added some levels there. Like on the camera, it looks like he's just got a big black crotch there, but to me, from the top down light, if I switch, maybe I have to switch the other camera. Can I go? No, you can't even see there. What am I going to do? Can you see? No. Well, that looks great. Like this. Yep. That's good TV. Aussie Arcus, your townhouse. Yeah, I'm going to be using that house tomorrow. Actually, let me take a break from painting this this miniature here. I'm just going to flip the camera around, show you a little bit of the setup I've got here at the table, because I've got this. If you're wondering if I'm like in a basement or something, this is a garage that is a double garage that we have here, and I have half of it kind of walled off to set up this kind of gaming space. I like having all the exposed brick that is kind of stone adjacent. And let me just, what's the best way to do this? Can I just grab one of these cameras and just like flip it around? Let me just grab this guy. All right. Okay, so I do have some of the room set up. We've got a chandelier. We've got, that's what we got. If I turn off this light, you'll be able to see a bit more of this room. Some of the ambience we've got set up here. I do also have a fog machine as well. If we go over to this far side, whoop, hold on a sec. Weavy through there. Oh, I can only make it so far. But there is a fireplace over there. I made it for last Christmas. And then I've got some of the townhouses here in play. Let me see if I can turn on some of the lights here to help make it a bit more exciting. Let's see. We've got a pin spot targeted on it. go. All right, let's see if I can get a good camera angle for you guys. If I don't get tangled up in all these cables. So, at the moment, I've got kind of this town square set up with a couple of the half houses over here. I do have a couple more where just these kind of like these little what you call it, like they're almost kind of like the when in old westerns you had those facades of those houses. I also have I have these. I'm just using regular dungeon tiles for the ground here. So I've got two of the halves of the half houses set up to kind of make this kind of corner street square kind of thing. And to light the thing, I've also got these little LED torch kind of things. These are for Christmas displays. They're almost like little spotlights that you can turn on and tweak around. They've got like a little battery pack in them, so they're quite like portable. I find it quite good for doing little accents of light for like imitations of like light sources or sunlight kind of coming through. Here I'm kind of using it to kind of simulate a little bit of street torch light, and I think those come up quite well. I'm not going to be using this for any kind of encounter. I've just got it kind of set up as a this is just the welcome map, just to kind of set the scene, set the mood for the game, where they're kind of starting off. Because that's where we kind of left things off. We left it off in the one of the towns, Leylon it was. That's where they are. They just returned from Tower of Storms. They had helped cure that place of some, what's his name, Moesco's heart. They had quenched that, destroyed him in some powerful battle, and now they're back buying things and what do you call it? Buying things, and then I'm going to kick in the door with some guy running from Phandalin, because Phandalin has been under siege from Cryovane yet again. He's using his Frostkin orcs to help secure the region. He's getting them to mine the hills and offer him this gold every 10 day. But the players haven't been around for a while, so we'll see what happens. There's going to be some tough choices, because they can either and there's way too much on this brush. There's going to be they're going to either have to choose going and helping this frost-cursed Manticore that I'm painting up at the moment, or help the town. And they've been following this from this cursed Manticore quest for quite a while, so they're probably quite a bit invested into it. So it'd be interesting what they decide to do. I guess whatever they decide to do, there's going to be consequences. Whatever they decide, really. It's if they go to the Manticore quest, things are going to get worse, gradually worse at Phandalin. Beloved characters might suffer. I'm not saying die, but there might be some injuries. But we'll see what happens. It might be a lot of dice rolling to see what happens. I've been DMing for about, it's hard to tell. I want to say 5 years, maybe less. So not a long time. I definitely wish I had found this hobby in like high school or something, when I had a lot more spare time. That would have been really good. Just because now it's a lot harder with kids to try and find this opportunities to work on this stuff. But thankfully for me, these kids are very keen on this thing. I know a couple of my, definitely my eldest, he's very big into the monsters, and I'm sure I'll hook him in, and he'll be helping me paint these things. Actually, no, that's not a bad idea. I should be outsourcing this stuff. That's actually, ooh, is it sinister? I've definitely heard some DMs doing that kind of thing, outsourcing their work to their kids. I'm not, you know what? The painting quality might be not much better than mine right here, and you know, it would get done, and he'd have a lot of fun doing it. Maybe I should look into that. You know, it's easy to get precious about some models and stuff, but when I can 3D print stuff now, it's a lot easier to just go like, all right, son, you paint this one, Daddy will paint this one. We'll be side by side painting these guys, and we'll see how they turn out. Even if he just like throws on base colors and stuff, that would still be very helpful to getting these guys somewhat table ready. There's nothing worse than throwing a miniature on the table and it's just, I'm definitely guilty of it, but like it's all just like the gray primed paint. I think I've definitely at the very least given things just a dry brush, just to at least like so you can see some of that detail and stuff. As you can see, not a professional painter at all, just throwing paint on the model and just maybe too much, maybe too thickly, but I'm getting a feel for the model. In some instances I've gone a bit heavy with the paint. I'm just trying to like wet blend it on, and on some I'm going quite dry, trying to accentuate some of that detail. It'll be interesting when some parts of this start to dry, like you can see there, like that's definitely very dark. I'm going to try and lighten that up a bit, maybe with some mid-tones, some greens and not greens, blues. Oh, that's what I'm missing, because that was something I learned from my Ice Caves video. If you can find that on the channel, the Ice Caverns, that there is green and ice, Viridian. I always went to it with like blue and white and stuff, but there is green in these things. So if I could throw a little bit of Viridian here, that might help make it pop a bit. I think that's starting to come along. Like I've definitely got some start of some like mid-tones and stuff. I might, like it's definitely starting to feel a bit more like a painted mini than just a primed mini. I think dry brushing is going to help bring out that frost feeling quite a bit more. I think I'm going to put some more mid-tones in the face. I think because I'm going to have these eyes glowing quite like a vibrant blue. So if I can start building up that feeling there already, that'd be pretty good. I don't think I actually properly answered that question about having at-person table, present people and internet people at the same game. Because, to be honest, I'm still working it out myself. In the last game I ran, we had just a good quality microphone that we used, and we had some of the ambient music and sound effects. And I'm gonna gather, just because it was like a Zoom call kind of thing, that I'm guessing the audio would have come through a very subpar. So I think in hindsight, I probably should have used something like my online broadcasting, like a clean feed or something, to broadcast the audio through a channel for them. So they had a clean ambient and music audio. But then how do you mix that with, because you're still going to have some artifacts coming through with the microphone for the players at the table. You're going to have some of the ambient sound coming through too. So it's a tough one. I think the only other option I thought of was like maybe like a silent disco kind of thing where everyone has a set of Bluetooth headphones kind of tuned into the same ambience that the Dungeon Master's using from like a laptop or something. And that's being broadcast to the player at the same time. That could be good. But then everyone's wearing headphones at the table. At the very least, you get very good surround sound kind of thing as a player. But then hearing the Dungeon Master at the same time, I guess you could turn them down a bit. I don't know. Having everyone have Bluetooth headphones, that's also a cost thing. I like to keep barrier to entry quite low with some of these things. Like, hey, saying, unless you can afford to supply them yourself, everyone just bring Bluetooth headphones to this thing. I don't know how much expensive Bluetooth headphones are. You probably could get some cheap ones. I don't know. That's an option, I guess. Have everyone kind of tuned into the same audio frequency, and a microphone on the table for the table talk and stuff. That could work. This guy's all right. I think I'm just using some of the darker midtones and stuff to build up some of these appendages and stuff. Midtones, blacks, grays, whites. I don't know. I think I'm just trying to use it to block in some highlights there, and then work that out. Let me know when you want me to kind of give up this guy and move on to the next one. But that's all right there. I just kind of added a bit of white, and it's kind of, that's interesting. Yeah, so I kind of threw on some darker colors first, and then kind of where I thought highlights were going to happen, just throw in some white and then just kind of blended it a bit. That worked out quite well, actually. Might do that again, but maybe less dark, maybe just a little bit, maybe a little bit more. Right here on this leg, and then just get a dab of white on there, just boop and boop and boop, and then just blend it in a bit. That might be too much. That's not too bad. Too bad. Got some color. You know, probably a wash is going to save this thing, I think. Maybe. Hopefully. Maybe I'll wash it with green. I'm going to pull out the Viridian in a sec. I think that's going to help sell the ice effect a bit more. All right, hopefully that's coming through all right. I think I'm definitely going to need some of this green. Start blending that in. Yeah, I think so. Okay, all right. Let's see. What do we have as? I think. Yeah. So with the Dragon Barrow I Spire Peak adventure, I have been quite enjoying running it. Just it is laid out a lot differently than regular adventures. Like it's actually laid out quite well. And what I mean by layout is if you turn in the book to some of the chapters that are devoted to like a dungeon or something, it has everything. Like if it's a small kind of dungeon that you could run in a session, it has it both on like open spread. Actually, I have the book right here. I can show you what I mean. So, see if I go to what, page 20. This is one. Which is a what is a dungeon? It's the Dragon Barrow. So you've got your simple kind of like map here, which shows everything. And I was going to change quite a bit of this to kind of fit in the session, but now after looking at it, it does all kind of read quite well. Usually I like to break down my notes in quite simple, just like a room is a couple of sentences. And I have kind of an overall goal of the dungeon, like, all right, I'm meant to be just building up anticipation for this magical item that's in there. So I might put some feelings or something within the dungeon to kind of communicate that. But here, it's nicely kind of laid out on this two-page spread, everything you need for this dungeon. So it's all kind of like face value, everything you need here, and it's done. And there are a few dungeons that are like this. There are some that are a few more pages, but like this one as well. Like turn it over. That is everything for that dungeon, all in just a double-page spread. So that's what I mean by kind of laid out quite well. So I have been enjoying that. It's make it quite easy to run that adventure, just because it flows very nicely in the book, and it's a nice read. It's very simple read. It's very it uses a lot of good simple language to it that it sets the scene, but allows you to kind of elaborate a bit more. That said, some of the encounters are a little bit dry. And I think they try to leave a lot of space for turning it into, whoa, that's wrong button there. They leave a lot of space for DM's interpretation of things. So yeah, that's just a gripe I've had with some of the Wizards of the Coast adventures, where it's just like, the encounter for this is like, you are in a room and it's 6 goblins. It's like, well, for a dungeon master, that's not a lot to go on. Like, what's happening in the room? What's the motivation here? What's like a key feature of the room? Sometimes they do give a key feature of the room. But I think like some of those existential feelings about like a room like that would help a lot. They do describe sometimes where they are like they're having a discussion or something, but yeah, sometimes it is a bit dry, where it's a room with 6 goblins in it. Go kill it. I think that is for a lot of the old kind of Dungeons and Dragons, where you had the larger dungeon crawls, where you would just pick away at a huge dungeon. You had a whole week playing every day and stuff, but I only have sessions like once a month for groups and stuff, so usually I'll try and limit the dungeon to like 5 rooms or something. And the hell am I looking for? I'm looking for the green. Here we go. I don't have a proper miniature paint, I just have this acrylic paint. So we'll see how this goes. I have used this on like the ice caverns, and I've used it on some other stuff, so it does work out pretty well. I think you do have to thin it a bit if it wants to come out of the tube. Let's see, get a bit more light here. All right. I'm just using the same brush as well. Just gross. Oh, it's gonna get stuck getting muddy. Maybe I should be cleaning my brush. No, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna mix this around a bit, just try and thin this up a bit. It's quite thick. Maybe I'll try and have very little on the brush going in, just so I don't saturate this thing. So I think I'm gonna have. So that's the scariest part with painting miniatures, like putting the paint on, because you're not sure how it's going to look. I bet more experienced painters would know for sure, but I'm just going to just high level hit this with some green, and just looks like I'm destroying a lot of that hard work that I did before. You know, let's have a look. Well, let's look at the questions here. lighting tips. That is something that has been a huge part of all my games, is getting the right lighting for a scene. For the table, you want lighting is an amazing way to add atmosphere to a game. It can be very minimal. You can go very big with it. You can have a big setup with it and hit a lot of like, I've got quite a few lights in the studio, or you can go quite minimal. You can have just a few candles. You can have just a single light, just like a spotlight or something on the thing, and that can be enough. I think the key is, especially with this day and age, is to have, because we have a lot of these LED lights, so we can change the color of them quite easily. In the olden days, you used to have to change like gels and stuff to change the color of these lights. So I definitely have that convenience now. And over here, I actually have some lights set for the table using a DMX light switching tool here. I know that's something I mentioned on one of the lighting videos that I had. If I can pull it out here. Actually, I'm going to struggle to pull this guy over here. He's going to switch to this camera. Can I? Nope, can't show you there. I'm going to do this. I'll just grab this. Little Dutch angle there. All right, so I do have this guy, which is a, can I bring it closer? No, he's like a DMX lighting board. So I have a few lights in the ceiling, which are this, where do we go? If we go here, you can see one of them up here. So that guy up there, he is one of these kind of like par can LEDs, and they're all connected with these DMX cables. What does DMX stand for? I wouldn't know. I think it's like a direct sound something. But anyway, so this control board that I have, if I toggle some of the sliders here, I can choose which lights I have and change the lighting values. So like you can mix and match them. I do have some chase sequences as well. So if I have programmed some chases. So here I've got like a storm lights here. If I turn off the big lights, let's see. I don't have them all kind of hit towards the right source. So it's kind of hard to tell in this, but if you do watch the lighting video on where we got on the Atmoseeker, you can see some of these lights in action where I do use some of the storm chasers. I am thinking of doing a chaser follow video on this series just to show how I set up some of the DMX settings to it. It is a cheaper alternative to like a Philips Hue kind of thing, and gives you a bit more direct control over the lights, and can be quite good if you have a more advanced lighting board. But I found the one I have is reasonably priced. I think it was about $50, and it's quite compact, so I can have it behind the Dungeon Master's screen. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I can hit those buttons to trigger a lot of these storm effects or flame effects and stuff that happen within the studio. Yeah, so there's a little bit of that. And let's just see how this guy's going. It's kind of, I'm not really making a lot of headway on this guy. I think I'm feeling like just to get him game ready for tomorrow, I think I'm going to move on to something else. I'm going to give this guy a break because it's not working for me. I think I'm going to hit this guy. I'm going to hit this guy with some, like, I look at this guy as like, yeah, that guy, like what, browns, can't go wrong. So I think with the frostbitten Manticore, I'm going to probably hit it with like a dry brush or something towards the end. But I'm going to maybe give myself a win with this Keg Golem and see how that goes. All right. Let's just fix up this camera now. All right. So, I don't think I can go wrong. We're just using a bit of, what is this? It's from this one of these hero starter kit paints. I don't have a lot of proper paints, so I'm just getting into the scene of painting and stuff myself, so very beginner. I do have some of the scale color paints here from long ago. I don't have any of the Citadel paints or Army Painter paints, so it can get quite pricey, so I'm slowly getting into it. So I am going to just start hitting it with a brown and see how I go. That's okay. It's like a, what is that? Like a mocha? It's like a mockery brownish stuff. I can build up from that for sure. Maybe mix it with a bit of black, get it a bit darker. Actually, this brush was quite good for coverage, so I might use that. Mix it a little bit, that and that. Maybe a little bit of water in there. Actually, I'm just going to mix it there. There we go. It's a nice dark-ish brown. So I can start with that. Let's see how we go. I'll start on the leg or something in case things go bad. I'm just going to start in the face. Oh no, that's okay. That's all right. Just going to start glazing this guy and all this paint. Oh, this is a big guy. This is the Keg Golem from Rocket Pig Games. And he is quite big. I think he was meant to be bigger as well, but I shrunk him down to fit on the build plate. But hey, look, so far I think I'm going better than the gargoyle here. Just hitting it. Just can't go wrong. We're just it's a wooden guy, so I'm going to hit it with a lot of brown. I'm just starting with a bit of dark brown. Just mixed it with some. There's the bugbear brown with some black. A little bit of water thinning out, and just going to build up from there. I think I might hit it with some other colors. Maybe what do we got? I think I like burnt sienna, burnt orange or something. That's kind of good for like newer woods. Yeah, not sure about that. I think right now I should be thinning this paint a lot more to just get a bit more coverage. I think I'm just going to be a bit more aggressive with some of this water I'm putting in here. So I have been enjoying running Dragon of Ice by a Peak. Any kind of negatives I found from it? I think my main negative has been the villain itself. Like in the book, it doesn't give a lot of. It is the white dragon, Cryovane, which is the name of the dragon. That is way too much water. And oh, there we go. And there's not much depth to him. So a lot in my preparation and stuff has been getting, adding a bit more depth to that character. There's no backstory to it. I did Google a little bit to kind of see if there was anything about him. And there is some backstory on like him being like an outcast of the other white dragons or something from the far north, but I kind of added a little bit more kind of complexity to his backstory of just like he had a mate that was him and his mate were captured by frost giants, and they were used from birth for quite a while. That's going on a lot better, thinning that out. That was a good decision, I think, there. So they were captured by these frost giants and raised in captivity, and they, in the struggle of trying to get free, his mate was murdered, and he flew to Phandalin to increase his magical power so he could one day return and defeat these forces. But he's doing it at the expense of a lot of the people in Phandalin, a lot of the good people that are living there, a lot of the... He's trying to... And he does have those tendencies of a dragon, of a white dragon where you have... you know, they love treasure and stuff, and they have a hoard. So he does have those adjacent evil tendencies, but some of his motivations are good, but kind of ill-guided. So I think it kind of makes him a more interesting villain. How the party learns about this stuff, I'm not sure. I'm thinking of introducing more of a sage kind of character, kind of like how Professor Dungeon Master mentions in one of his videos. I think the video was like the top 5 NPCs you'll ever need in a game, and one of them was a sage, which was to give advice and lore. So I think I do have that character. Whether what he knows is that kind of stuff, but it would be good to kind of share some of that insight knowledge, maybe slowly leak it out, that they could kind of pull it out together. But I do like adding those kind of like nuances to a villain, just to kind of help. You can almost sympathize with him, you know, his angle, like what he's doing there. Welcome, RFD Hobby. So I do like to add that kind of stuff to a villain. They don't really do that kind of stuff in the book. Maybe, I think a lot of Wizards of the Coast adventures leave stuff quite vague, that a lot of, for Dungeon Masters to kind of interpret and make up their own things. But sometimes I like it when they have something thought out there. Even if it's not the best, you know, you can go like, all right, there's some complexity here and I can pick and choose from it. But when there's nothing, it's kind of hard to start from something. Yeah, start with something, you know. It's so I think a lot of the Pathfinder adventures can be quite good for that kind of thing. But yeah, because I have seen some of those adventures have something a bit more fleshed out. Sorry, I still had the lightning effect going on in here. That's it's menacing. There we go. Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'm trying it out. I'm not sure if it's something people are interested in, but hey, look, it helps me stay painting and stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't normally find much time to paint these kind of things. So it's good to paint some miniatures, talk about games and stuff coming up. I think something I was thinking of a topic recently was game prep, but not so much in terms of like, these are the notes you need, these are the books you need to read, these are the kind of like tools you need, but more kind of like how to get in the right frame of mind, because you can have all that stuff and it's so easy to get like overwhelmed, confused, just so much stuff flying around the table. I think especially if you're a new dungeon master, it's really good to just be forgiving of yourself. Try new things. Talk with the table and see like what they're interested in doing. And I think also just be very forgiving of yourself. Like, you don't have to get 100% of details right in this world, as long as everyone's having fun at the table. Like, the players, they just want to play. They're just like focused on their own characters, their own abilities and stuff. And to present them with like scenarios and interesting things that can help make the games entertaining and fun, that's kind of what I've found to be the most important things. So I think, like, especially with like pre-written kind of like adventure like areas and stuff. It kind of goes back to the point of it kind of being a buffet, a story buffet where you can kind of pick and choose from. And like if you're running a game, right, and you totally mispronounce the Lord of Waterdeep's name or completely get it wrong, it doesn't matter. It's like, this is your world, and this is how it is in this world now. The name of this Masked Lord is this from now on. Because, I mean, there might be some hardcore people that are just like, no, you have to have it absolutely accurate, right to the T. But if you're someone new to it and stuff, that can be very daunting. So I think just if you make mistakes, you just roll with it, and I think it can make to some more kind of more. It's more relaxing at the table to just be able to kind of flow with those kind of things. So yeah, I think be a bit more forgiving of yourself when running these kind of modules, because people just want to come, play, have fun. So I think to the point of this kind of preparation, one of my most recent discoveries for preparation has been not some new note-taking system or something. It's been actually getting sleep. So on the night before, don't stay up until 3 a.m. painting miniatures or like cramming on notes or something. Get a good night's sleep, because if you're well rested, you're going to be more on your feet. You're going to be able to think a bit lighter. You're going to be more relaxed. Your brain chemicals are going to be all good. So I think having that, like just being well rested, especially for me, has made me a bit more on my game with these things. So that's probably my main takeaway lately. That in mind, I do have a game tomorrow, so I can't be up all night painting this guy. Who knows? Tomorrow this guy might just be brown. But I have had a lot of fun painting on the brown. A lot more fun than the other one. So we'll see how this goes. I think can't go wrong with even just... You know what? To be in hindsight, if I had just printed this guy in brown resin, it would be a great starting point. I wonder if you can get dyes for resin. I don't know. I think you can buy them at in certain colors. At the very least, I could have primed them a color. I am a bit more limited for what kind of priming colors I have, especially in the like Rust-Oleum variety that adheres to like plastics and miniatures and stuff. I know there are proper spray primers you can get for like Army Painter and stuff, but I kind of cheap out a bit. So I guess for what I cheap out, I pay back in effort. So there you go. All right, so we're gonna. Should I just be using a way bigger brush for this? I don't know. Because I kind of want to hit these sides all evenly. Like, if you have any suggestions in the chat, I am happy to hear it, just to kind of speed along these guys. Should I have been using an airbrush this whole time? I don't know. I've got all this stuff set up for the game tomorrow, so I didn't want to get like paint everywhere. But maybe I should have used the airbrush to kind of hit this thing with a few colors. Maybe I should pull it out. I don't know. It's very loud, so I wouldn't be able to talk. But I have been talking a lot. You know, I've been talking about a lot, but not drinking scotch. I have a beautiful glass of 12-year-old scotch here that I haven't been trying. So cheers. Drink it neat. No ice. That was really good, actually. What is that? That is double cask, single malt, Abalure. quite smooth, smoky a little bit. There's a little bit of what do you call it? The what's the smokiness? What does it say? Pitch? That's not right. It's something like that. Completely gone blank on that. All right, this guy is starting to look brown. I do like this model quite a bit. I think even by the night, if he's just brown by the end of it, I think that'll be okay. Alright. I am curious for people who watch the channel, like, what is the best, like, value videos that you've had on the channel? Like, is it the atmosphere stuff? Is it like the lighting, sound kind of stuff? Or is it the miniature and crafting kind of side of things? Because I've noticed that a lot of the crafting videos have done quite well. I think that's mostly just because, like, I don't know where to post this video about crazy lights and stuff. Tabletop crafter skills? I don't know. It's quite miniature tabletop crafting adjacent, but it's not, you know, miniature tabletop stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. But where to post that kind of stuff, the atmospheric stuff, that is always a question. So, I don't know. Maybe like a Dungeon Master's more kind of group or something, but those groups can be quite small. I don't know. It's good to have a good reach where you can, I don't know, to kind of spread these kind of stuff. You like the atmosphere stuff. Well, that's good to hear, because I love the atmosphere stuff too. Maybe I do have something coming up about atmosphere. The topic is a bit more, it's more like DMs on the road, so it's more just like a kit for atmosphere and generating atmosphere with some simple tools that I use. The aim is just stuff that kind of fits in a backpack that you can bring on the road and set up atmosphere at like a friend's place or something, and it's just a few simple like lights and stuff to help set that up, but it adds everything to the game. Because I've been using that kind of kit for quite a while in my work games. We don't work at the office lately, but when I did, it was great to just throw everything in a backpack and just like in 10 minutes, just set everything up. And it just kind of like completely transforms the room and helps make this like magical environment that kind of sets the tone for the adventure, rather than just being like, you know, halogen lights in a room, office room, just boring. So it's good to, yeah, I have enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think that's mostly why I started the channel, because that was the angle that I had, and that was something I was very passionate about. And I think you're right that there wasn't much out there. I think, especially with some of the lights and stuff that I have used and stuff, a lot of the stuff I have been Googling or finding information on has been just from like weird like DJ websites and stuff. So it's been a big journey of just trying to find all this information. So having it all kind of geared specifically towards Dungeons and Dragons and running the game has, I think that's kind of been the angle for the channel. So I appreciate that, and thank you for watching. All right, this guy's almost all brown. So even by the end of this night, I think I'm gonna end up finishing the stream by, what do you call it, 12, so half an hour. If I can get this guy all brown, that would be good. You know, I probably should have like a miniature holder or something. I'm just holding onto this guy's arm, but by the time I get to that arm, I'm gonna have to get some paint on my fingers here. It's okay. I want to feel it. Okay. Anything else that I use for atmosphere that I haven't touched on the channel? I think something I have thought of reviewing is a lot of the, I actually do some stuff with smells and stuff. So I have a variety of candles or these special scented beads and stuff. And you can get them like scented to different locations. Sometimes I won't use them because some players can be quite sensitive to those smells, but on the off chance I can't have, those smells have been quite good for setting the mood. Like in particular, I had a good, one of them's quite good. It's like I think it's Adventure Scents, and it is for like a seaside kind of smell, and it was like, this is dead on what it smells like there. And I don't know, it kind of adds a little extra something to the like location that they were. Especially if it's like in a dungeon or something that you can just pull out this water smell, and it had that same kind of fresh smell to it all. So it's another little angle, little atmosphere tidbit here on the stream. I might throw a link in the description when this uploads to YouTube. Streaming D&D, oh boy, I would love to stream D&D. It's just, there is a lot of moving parts to it. I think to do it properly, the way I would want to do it, with high production value, good camera angles, just good lighting, good sound, I think to be able to like, you would need a small crew, I think. So probably 1 or 2 people, I guess. Probably dungeon masters as well, that they know what they're doing with like sound or something. So, and then live streaming the whole game. I mean, I've thought about it, and to be able to do it would be amazing. Obviously, the easy way is to have people dial in with their own cameras, and you kind of have that multi-way call kind of live stream. That I've kind of more enjoyed watching the live streams where they have players all in the same room as each other. But I understand that in this day and age, that could be a little harder to do. Thankfully, where we are, the restrictions have kind of dialed down a bit, so we are able to do in-person games. Obviously, we'll see how long that lasts. But if I was going to do a live stream, it would be kind of in-person stuff, real models and miniatures and lighting and sound effects and stuff. It's just, there's quite a bit of time investment in that kind of thing. Like preparing the game and everything is fine. It's just an edited version of the story. Would that not capture it? You know what? That's probably not a bad idea, because to put it up in more digestible chunks, like 20-minute episodes that somebody could just click and watch, I probably like the sound of that more, especially because you have a bit more control of the editing and stuff. Because quite a few live streams that I have watched, that can turn some dead air sometimes. So it is good sometimes to be able to edit some things out. So I do like the sound of that. That could be quite good. Yeah, good idea. I guess I guess it would depend on, that's the other thing, just like getting people together in, like, I don't know how you guys find scheduling regular regular games, but sometimes it can be quite difficult to get everybody on the same day in the same location. But I don't know, if you were kind of doing it regularly, like maybe you could sort something out. You'd have to have a good crew together, I think. good chemistry, I think, would be important. Sorry, I keep bringing this here, and then you can't see what I'm painting. So I'm just painting his pits. There we go. But yes, I love the sound of that. The work involved to get it going sounds sounds intense, but I love the idea of it, and I think I do want to kind of pick away at the idea. But thank you for that suggestion of an edited thing. That does sound a little bit less daunting than a live stream, because I'm new to this live stream thing in general, and I've already noticed that it can be difficult. So hats off to people who do this for a living. I don't. Hopefully, I'm doing it right. I don't know if I am. So, but thank you for tuning in and watch me paint these models in a very amateur way with cheap materials. And but the thing I've got going for me is the lighting. Oh, but I also do have a little bit of what do we got? We got some special effects here. Oh, here we go. We can get a little fog on the table. There we go. That'll add the atmosphere right here. Sun rises out of the mist. We have this. Oh, see, that's a cool effect. So this is the other thing I have part of my. Let's see if we switch it here. Yeah, I've got this as part of the table setup. Rather than having the fog board set up, I've got just the fog chiller video set up. The fog chiller down there. I've got the pipe handy here, so if I see the map out there, I'm like, I'm just gonna like let's turn this camera around. Let's get my perspective on this scene. Let's switch this up a bit. All right, we've got a little bit. Let's just light the scene a bit. See what we've got. Get a bit closer. All right, so say I've got like a table scene like this. I've got a couple of the ripple lights above, but I might change the color of them. So this one's to more of a cyan. Just gonna stop that. And I'm accenting it. I've got a pin spot in the middle for like a spotlight from above. And I've got a couple of these Christmas spotlights in there. And to add a little bit more atmosphere to it, I've got the little hose handy with me. So it's like, all right, it's a foggy evening. I can just throw a little fog on there, and it should linger a little bit. It would be better, yes, if I had more of those walls around it. But sometimes I like to keep it a bit open. If you put enough on the board, and if I had more of maybe some of that Halloween mesh kind of coming out. There we go. So I just did a little bit. And you see it does sit around that, and that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. There we go. So there we go. It's a little way to kind of throw some atmosphere on there. You could have a wall around it to kind of keep some of that mist in there, but you can see it still kind of lingers there quite a bit. See it coming out of the back of this this building. Let me get it closer to the scene. Little. Get some more fog in there. I do like having it on a hose because I could just spray it into the air, get some ambient room fog, or I could just aim it at the terrain board, get a little bit of that ambient fog. And I mostly found that at the moment, having it in that method, pretty good for like photography of this kind of stuff. So that's been good to be able to kind of throw that fog on there whenever I need to. There we go. Oh, sorry that. Just messed up my cam a bit. There we go. You can see my face. Okay. Have we finished putting brown on this guy? He's pretty brown. I can see a few spots here. I'm gonna miss it. There we go. Get those corners. All right, I think that's some decent coverage on this guy. Whoa, sorry, can't even see him. All right, I think this guy's ready to like get through a bit more detail on here. Usually, like I think, being a new streamer, I think in hindsight, base coat these guys first before bringing them on the channel, on the stream. That way I don't have to do just boring base coating of these things. I can actually do some fun little painting on them, like some little dry brushing, some blends, some little accents and stuff. So I think in future that's something to learn about streaming. Definitely base coat them first before going on here, because this is not the most exciting to watch. But I have had fun chatting about things and showing off some of the terrain and stuff that we have around here. Let's see, is there any other... All right, so we definitely have this guy all base coated up. So I might just leave him to dry just a little bit before I just start hitting him with some dry brushing and stuff. I actually have noticed I have missed quite a few spots on this guy. I'm gonna go too thick on some of these things. Let's see, just giving him a once over. Let me know if you see anything. I do see something on the camera there. There we go, we got that. Actually, it's handy using the camera for this. Any other spots I've missed? That looks a bit vacant of paint. I'm surprised that that's such a big area. All right. If you're wondering who we're listening to, the music that I have in the background, this is a composer called ASCII. I believe he's German. Let me double check that. German composer? Yes. From Germany. And he does a lot of fantasy kind of tracks and stuff. And I have liked the ambient kind of music mixes that he have. They've been quite good for running games. I'm not sure how the license works for his music, but definitely has a lot of great music to choose from for that are just like good ambient tracks, especially this kind of like wandering exploration kind of stuff, this high fantasy kind of feel to things. I found it quite good. He does have some like darker catacomb kind of feel music that works quite well too. Definitely worth a listen if you get a chance. And you do have a chance right now to some of this stuff. I could put on some of the darker stuff, but then it makes this kind of feel a bit more sinister, what you're seeing. Yeah, I think I've got him a good coating of brown on this guy. I do see a couple of little corners here and there that I've kind of missed. I think I'm definitely going to invest in a few like spray primers of different colors. Any suggestions? Like who does? It would be like Army Painter or something. They would have some colored primers that you could use. I guess I usually do things on the cheap, so I'm not sure exactly how much that stuff costs. Guys, pretty brown. I'm liking the brownness. All right, what am I going to do now? I think we're going to hit him with a lighter brown, or we're going to lighten up this brown a bit. I don't have like a burnt orange kind of thing, so I think I'm going to make an orange, and then I'm going to mix in a bit of brown. I think I'm going to go. Let's see. What have I got? I'm going to go. Let's see. We got the. It's all the way over here. We've got the bugbear brown. That's pretty good. And I'm going to mix that with a little bit of yellow and a little bit of red, just to get more of a burnt umber, burnt sienna kind of color. Let's do a little dance here to get these shaken up. I do. What's this? I do have an orange here. Kalahari orange. That could do the trick. Throw a little brown in that thing. It is different color paint to this one. I don't know. I'm going to keep it all. I don't know. That could be quite good. Just darken it with a bit of brown. You know what? I could just. Actually, you know what? I haven't used this for years, so it's probably going to take like 30 minutes to just shake that up. So I'm going to leave that. I'm going to grab some red. I'm going to grab some yellow. And grab some brown. That's how we do. We're gonna get this. So they're gonna be a spectacular mess, or it's gonna be okay. And this guy's gonna be painted, and he's gonna be crushing villages in no time. It's kind of not what I expected, but kind of okay. It's like it's a lighter brown. That's all right. I'm okay with that. I'm going to just get as much off the brush as I can. I'm just going to give this hit it with like a dry brush kind of angle here. Just going to accent some of this wood. I think I've explained the story behind this guy. So the story goes behind this guy. So in the Dragon of Icespire Peak adventure, there is a gnomon village called Gnomengard. And within it, there was a problem with a mimic. Go in there, kill the mimic, everything. Help them out. They're eternally grateful. Treasure, save the king. But after the heroes left that settlement and went on to explore some of the surrounding region, they didn't come back to this town in quite some time. They did see smoke off on the horizon in the distance. Didn't really question it that much. But what they soon learned when they finally visited that region, it seemed that Cryovane and his henchmen, these frostkin orcs, so orcs that had been turned by some kind of charm effect of the dragon, had attacked this village and ransacked it, taken gnomes as slaves, and basically killed a lot of the inhabitants there. except for one. There was an inventor there called Fibblestab, and being the eccentric type and also the cowardly type, he hid during the adventure, during the attack. And when the heroes came, they discovered him hidden away, and he was shocked by all that had happened, all the dead friends he had seen lying there and strewn around. Something clicked inside him. Something changed, this spark of something that he hadn't felt before. Still a coward, but emboldened by some kind of feeling to reach out and get vengeance for the murders that had been ensued on this poor Gnomon village. So he started to construct something. He constructed this golem made from the materials that they had within the settlement. And to fuel it, it needed magic, powerful magic. And he used the remains of his dead friends to form a special liquid that would fuel this golem and fuel its rage. Kind of almost like dabbling in necromancy. This technological gnome is now kind of turned into this vengeful tinkerer necromancer, and he is just going to start picking off orcs where he can, with the goal of finding this white dragon in the end, if you can. So I have it set that the adventurers might encounter this guy at the Circle of Thunder, so which is an inhabited place where there used to be some of these anchorites that were worshipping the storm god, I think Talos. Well, I have kind of put a bit too much there, but I think I'm like overbrushing this stuff. So just kind of pick out some of those details. Wow, it really does look a lot more colorful on the camera than it does for me. I think I'm just going to try and thin out some of those thick areas. There you go. But it's kind of like creating like a rust. It's like a wooden effect. Like if wood could have rust, I guess. We're gonna get some focus here. I don't know. Not today, Seb. No focus today. I should have made up more of this paint. I don't have enough of this color. I ain't gonna. You know, I should have used a bigger brush too. Oh, that's okay. I can get into some of those finer details. So that's kind of the story behind it. Whether it all plays out like that, and if I remember all those details, we'll see. But it's good to kind of have those thoughts in mind going into the session for sure. Whether they encounter that way or they just kill them, you know, I never know. But I like to give them a chance if they can get to it. All right, yeah, that's quite good on the face there. I'm noticing it's kind of picking up some of that detail. If the camera will bloody focus for me. Come on, mate. There you go. Can you see that? Oh, that's a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, it's picking out some of that detail quite good. That's why I love dry brushing a bit. Oh, I'm definitely going to need more of this paint. I don't nearly have enough of it. All right, this one. Let me make a bigger batch this time. So it was, I think it was even of yellow, red, and brown. Maybe less on the brown. There we go. Alright. Yeah, that looks kind of right. Maybe too much red. More brown. More brown. I did mention music not long ago, and I have found that very important for setting the tone of a scene, especially when running the game, and it can also help subvert expectations, especially if you have what could be the biggest villain in the game, but you play like the sweetest, you know, little sonata or something, that players will just, oh, this is just like a pleasant NPC or something. It's interesting to use those tools to kind of subvert expectations. But usually I've used music as a good way of accentuating those bigger plot beats. You know, on one hand, it's easy to just get a combat playlist and put together some you know, heavy drums and stuff to kind of make a more exciting combat. But on the other hand, like, it's the more subtle moments that are harder to score. And I've found even with some scenes, to just not play music and just have the ambience rolling, and maybe if you do use tabletop audio, you'll see that some of their ambiences actually have subtle music in them, which is maybe just like a monotone drone or something. So sometimes that can be enough just to kind of add an air of like mystery or just dramaticness to like an encounter, or just like a plot kind of thickening moment. We'll need another brush to fix up the mistakes I'm making right now. Oh boy, just thin it out a bit. Maybe I'm being a little too careless here with the this on this brush of paint. It's better. Just taking a dry brush that didn't have any paint on it and just getting some of that excess off. So I'm meant to be just dusting this on, just gonna dry brushing some of this wood detail. I think I'm pushing a little too hard with the brush. It's getting some of that paint that's built up inside it. So that's better. I think naturally I'm trying to push harder because I want it broader coverage. So maybe if I had some proper brushes, I guess. There we go. Oh yeah. There we go. Ah! See? Just, you know it's live because I'm making a whole lot of mistakes on this thing, which should be simple. There's a lot of pressure to get stuff right the first go when you're streaming stuff, so take it easy on me, guys. I think at the very least, it's going to have brown paint on it, it's going to look like it's made of wood, and it's going to be this far away at the table, so hopefully they won't see all the mistakes I make. At the very least, I think it'll come across as wood, which will be good. That's all you can hope for, really, I think. I was kind of hoping to paint that Manticore too. I always forget how long it takes to paint miniatures, especially big ones like this. There we go. That's starting to pop a bit more. I don't mind some of that highlight on that jaw. It could be a bit lighter color there. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I think that's all you need, really. Maybe I'll hit that with a little bit of, maybe I'll throw a little bit more yellow into that brown. Hit it again with a wider brush or something. I should just get a bigger brush. I think I will, actually. Oh, totally good. There we go. There we go. That's all right. All right, so we're gonna just hit all those high edges with that. And just try and blend it as much as I can. It's kind of like just pushing into it and blending it a bit as well. And I'm finding that's working. Especially when trying to hit some of those wood areas. The whole thing's a wood area, Seb, so you can't miss. All right, there we go. Yeah, I was noticing that leg was looking a bit brighter. All right, there we go. Just hit more of that wood. It's looking okay. That's coming along. I hadn't realized that you can see some of these layer lines. I'm not sure if you can tell there, but there is a decent layer line around there. I haven't really noticed layer lines before on resin prints. It's very minor, but I hadn't noticed it before. I thought it was usually pretty seamless. Maybe I need to check out some of the advanced settings on the printer. Oh boy, that sounds like a rabbit hole to go through. 3D printing is a whole hobby in itself. I like the type of 3D printing where I print the monster, it comes out, I paint it. There we go. All right, so obviously I overestimated how many minis I can paint in a night. Obviously, not that many. It started with this guy. He got started, I think, to make do. Oh boy, I am gonna have to like rebase this or something, and then I'm just gonna throw some blue highlights in the eyes and call that one table ready for tomorrow. This one I'm more happy with, but it is more of a simpler paint job on this guy. So I think at the very least, I might throw a bit of, what do you call it, silver on some of these attachments. There again, silver, brass, you could actually put silver there, and then like a brass on those kind of rivety types. Actually, I think that's quite good. I think that would be enough to kind of add some extra detail to this thing. At the very least, you can throw it on like this, and it's not too bad. You know what? I'm just going to throw, at the moment, I'm just going to throw some, hello. Yeah, I am just going to throw some bright green in this guy's eyes and hope for the best. We got some very, very fluoro paint here. I know it's not craft paint, but it'll do the job. A fine brush. Is that gonna be fine enough? Oh yes. I'm gonna jam some paint in his eyes. Just, if it could focus for me, that would be terrific. There we go. Easy. There we, all right, that's one. And Toad. That's two. That's not too bad. Alright. So he's got some fluoro green happening in it. Like there's some necrotic energy magic happening inside him. All the gnome bones fueling this thing. I'll wash that off. I'm gonna hit some of those, I think I'll hit the silver elements first and then cap it off with the brass ones. We're getting close to, it is midnight, so we're getting close to the end of the stream. Maybe I'll just finish off this guy and then we'll call it a night. Let's see, have I got any, let's see, we've got a paint here from the D&D kit. It's mithril silver. That sounds kind of what I'm after. Okay, metallic. That's a good point. I just would have to work out where my hand's gonna be. That didn't work out too bad. I do change the camera up quite a bit, like earlier in the stream. So, but you know what? The problem is I need more cameras. Maybe oh, I've got the mini camera and then I've got, that sounds expensive. I'm not gonna do that. But good tip to have it kind of set as manual focus. I suppose I could, should I do it right now? Let's do it. Let's see, properties, configure, focus. I'm going to take off autofocus and let's see how we go. Okay, so it's just focused around there. So that's kind of comfortable, I guess. Close-ish. I don't have any paint on the brush, so that's a good start. What do we got? That's the one. This brush is way too big. Alright, put that there. Actually, let's see what we got. We've got, this is the last brush. Here we go. This will do it. Okay. All right, now we're cooking. We got, let's see. We're gonna hit these pipes with some silver. At the very least, I'm gonna hit the pipes. Let's see if I can get in there. That's all right. Oh, this brush is a bit frayed. Focus. You can do this. I guess this is a pro tip where, I mean, for a professional painter, I guess. No, that's not me. But I'm leaning on myself to help minimize the shake a bit. So I can get those areas a bit better. That's kind of doing the job. Yeah. There we go. One chunk. All right. Let's get this. I'm finding it like following the brush strokes to the side kind of helps make it feel like that riveted, like almost like there's a grain to the metal. Yeah, that's maybe it'll be enough extra detail to help sell this thing. Alright, so that's something I learned as well. Don't have too many minis to paint the night before a game. I think I've overestimated how long these minis take to paint. But they are a lot of fun to paint. So at least I've got lots of them to paint. That's good. I reckon even if I just get this silver, I can leave those riveted ones. Like that would be nice to do a brass on there. But it's that little accent of a very like a textural variation that helps that model quite a bit. I like that. I think yes, I am painting this for a game tomorrow. I'm running Dragon Barrow Peak, and this is after a gnome invasion. The dragon and orcs have invaded Gnomengarde in my game, and one of the lone surviving gnomes has created this monstrosity with the remains of his gnomon brethren to fuel this thing and take out his vengeance across the world. So that's the thoughts behind it. I think I'm actually going to leave the stream here for tonight, and I'll post photos of this up on the Instagram. I'm just Atmoseeker TV on Instagram, and be sure to keep an eye open on the YouTube channel for new videos in the future. I definitely have some more stuff in the plan. I know I'm a little slower on the on the delivery for some of these videos, so but there's it's starting to get a good library of stuff. I'm going to be focusing on more of the atmosphere techniques. A miniature painter, I am not, but I do still enjoy the hobby. I do have some terrain crafting projects in motion, and also some extra kind of atmospheric tool kind of props that I'm keen to show you guys in the future. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel if you can, and be sure to share if you want, if you like what I'm doing here on the channel. And if you want to share to the discussion as well, there is a Facebook page for Atmoseeker. If you just go to atmoseeker.com, be sure to join that and join the discussion where we show a lot of the other builds and inspirations from the lighting and atmosphere techniques to help bring your game and inspiration to your players. I'm Sebastian, this is Atmoseeker, and let's create and inspire. See you next time.